William Bodie, and I own this store. This is Salida Art Supplies. I also am partners with Brian Rill in owning a music store on G Street, and I run a business called Salida Historic Renovation. The arts are influencing Salida in a positive way. They're bringing interest, they're bringing some economy to the area. Definitely it's helping the quality of life here. People who move here are really interested in that quality of life, obviously by the mountains and the scenery here in Salida, and art just enhances that quality of life. And a lot of people who move here are well-educated people. They want that kind of quality of life, and so the art impacts that. Well, obviously the children are going to be impacted because anytime you add art into their lives, it gives them a different view of reality, and it also makes them think more. Also, people don't realize that when these kids are going to school all the time learning reading, writing, and arithmetic, that's pretty stressful stuff. And art releases a lot of that stress and a lot of that energy, so it's really good for kids. And obviously, it's helped the community in an aesthetic sense, because a lot of these artists have to put their art somewhere. So a lot of the art goes into Salida Cafe, into Cafe Dawn, some of the local establishments. First Street Grill has a bunch of art. There's a bunch of art up on the highway. So it gets around, and it just helps produce that ambience, that idea that there's a lot of artists here, which in turn creates more of an art community, because the idea oftentimes is as much a part of the community as the actual circumstance that's happening here.
Hi, my name is Steph Brady, and I'm the owner and artist of the Green Cat. My husband also does the sculptures here, Joe Brady, and then my daughter does some of the necklaces. We came here, we've probably been in Salida for 16 years. We were one of the first artists to come in. There was about 5 of us that came in and worked together, and we started promoting Salida as a really nice art town. We opened up the doors and started our shops, and we are artists that work right here in the studio. The arts are everywhere here. A lot of times we have a lot of community events, and also people that are in need of help and donations and things like that, and the artists are forever donating their art for charities and different things like that. They also do all the posters for all the events and stuff. So everywhere you go, there's art. There's art in the galleries, there's art in the cafes, there's art outside, there's art in the park, there's art all around the coffee shops. There's just art everywhere, and it makes you think. And I think that if we could have a world where people will stop and think and start using their own heads, that I think we'll be better, because people can make wiser decisions and they can see different ways of looking at things, because we have a really eclectic art society here, and it's not just your run-of-the-mill, it's different. And most of us have been doing art all of our lives. I started at 25, I'm 57 now, so there you go. And I will probably keep doing art until the day I die.
Yeah. I'm Mel Strawn. I've been in Salida since 1988. I came here directly from Western Michigan University, where I chaired the art department. Before that, I was director of the School of Art at the University of Denver for 16 years and helped build a building there. So, I'm a painter. My wife is a sculptor. The canoe that we're sitting by here, stone canoe, is by Tommy Strawn, my youngest. When we came here in 1988, where we're standing right now was a desert of cinders and junk. We had the idea of this space outside where we are right now as a sculpture garden, as an adjunct part of the hoped-for community events and art center. And from that we put together efforts with community people, and over the years, bit by bit, it became a sculpture garden. And all of the walkway around, those are squares. The people in the community paid money to help the effort to finance this enterprise.
My name's Chuck Rose. I'm the mayor of Salida, and as people who have visited Salida well know, this is a community defined by its art. Whether it's the art of the buildings that were built in the late 1800s, early 1900s, whether it's the art you see hanging in pretty much any public building, and I mean commercially public or private commercial buildings or public buildings that are open to the public. There's a lot of art in this town. When you have a lot of art, you have to assume there's a lot of artists, and they define our town as well. As you can imagine, they are not bashful about stating their opinions, whether it's in artwork or in using their voice. And they create the fence lines, just like this beautiful valley creates the fence lines for our attitudes and the appreciation of where we live. Because we have a fantastic art program in our schools with fantastic teachers, and the kids do amazing work. And hopefully we'll be creating some of the finer artists that this country's produced in time in our small town of Salida. What I think we ought to talk about is with the gradual fading of the railroad and with the closing of Climax molybdenum mine, that was the beginning, in my opinion, of an evolution of the change that's occurred to Salida. Whether you think it's good or bad, one of the positive things in my mind is it created a void that the artists could move into, and they became catalytic in the evolution of the town. And it's more than just the economic addition that they offer. It's the intellectual addition, it's the perspective that is different. And the thing with artists is they are rarely bashful about expressing their opinion, and it's good. Art is a public thing in most cases. There are exceptions historically, but generally an artist wants their stuff displayed, and they're usually willing to display their views as well. It broadens the perspective of a relatively small town, and I think is only positive.